Ronnie, did you sign the beam on Monday?
I didn't.
No, I didn't.
All right, good evening, everybody. The hour being after 6:30, I'd like to call the Tuesday, May 16th, 2023 School Building Committee meeting to order. Our first order of business is to acknowledge public participation. On March 29th, 2023, Governor Healy signed into law an act relative to extending certain state of emergency accommodations, which, among other things, extends the expiration of the provisions pertaining to the open meeting law to March 31st, 2025. Specifically, this extension allows remote and hybrid meeting options for public bodies through March 31st, 2025, without a quorum of the public body physically present at the meeting location, and to provide adequate alternative access to remote meetings. The Act does not make any new changes to the open meeting law other than extending the expiration date of the temporary provisions regarding meetings to March 31st, 2025. Thank you. Our next order of business is approval of meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the meeting minutes? I've heard a motion from Mr. Fisher, Jack Fisher. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Anderson. So I'm still going to poll the committee since we're in hybrid here, if we could. Mr. Fisher.
Yes.
Mr. Barrett.
Yes.
Ms. Giositz.
Yes.
Goff.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Jeff Fisher.
Yes.
Jack Fisher.
Yes.
Mr. Connor.
Yes.
Dr. Hahn.
Yes.
Mr. Senek.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Did I miss anybody? Our next order of business is project status update. Kate, I think that's you.
Yep. Can everybody see my screen? It changed. All right, so I'll hand this over to Joel for the construction update.
All right. Thanks, Kate. So big activity on site right now is the structural steel progress. So this shot is about a week old, I would guess now. So the remainder, you can see where the crane's set up in that photo. The remainder of that section, that's called C building. That's where the auditorium will be. That area of steel is now up. So ongoing work with the steel, most of it, so all the steel is placed. We're going to do the topping off tomorrow with the last beam will go up. So we got a beam signed by all the students at Bird and Johnson, and we got that back to the site, and we'll get that hung up tomorrow. And the steel decking, so the roof and floor decking is going to be ongoing in C building and B building. B building is just about done. And the welding, so all the detail work will continue. So the whole structure is up. You can get a real sense of the building and the footprint on the site at this point. And then there's a good amount of welding left to go. So we probably got 2 to 3 weeks minimum left for detailing. Next major activity that's not as apparent as the steel going up, but it's preparation for pouring the concrete slabs, the floor slabs. So We have the third floor of A building, that slab's prepped and ready to go. Second floor, we're doing the rebar in that slab right now. And the slab on grade, this picture on the right here. So this is the ground floor of A building that you're looking at. So we've got all of the plumbing underground is all in. The electrical underground is all in that area. And they're just doing the fine grading, getting everything ready for the concrete there. So by the end of the month, we should have all of A building, all three of those slabs poured out and ready for the mechanical trades and the next activities coming up. The electrical duct bank, this photo on the right, just showing some conduit here. The electrical duct bank, so the underground electrical service that'll bring the power to the new building from Eversource's feed on East Street. That's all in place and been inspected and ready to go. So that's good. That's a good milestone to get that out of the way. Next up. Yeah, and then just a general look ahead, the next activities on site. So the framer arrived out there this week to do the exterior framing, get started prepping, doing layout for that. Same guy will do the roof blocking. So the wood up on the roof to get ready for the roofer. And we've got the roofer lined up to start just after Memorial Day. And once the roof gets started, right behind him will be the fireproofer. So those are the next two activities. We'll have the spray fireproofing going on, and we'll actually start seeing the roof insulation go down and roof membrane in June. So moving right along, still doing a really good job with the schedule. Our steel erector did a pretty remarkable job getting the steel up ahead of schedule, and still some detailing to go, but we're feeling pretty good right now with where we've gotten so far, and feel good about who we've got lined up ready to come in next. And one other thing we wanted to show you, so when we lay out the HVAC, the plumbing, the electrical, the light fixtures, the sprinklers, all that stuff, it's so intricate, the layout of all those systems and making sure that they all fit with one another. So TAP A during design does a really good job of getting that layout in a pretty good spot. And one of the things we do with all the trade contractors is we do this, we produce this 3D model where you can see where every piece of ductwork's going to go, where every pipe's going to go, and you make sure everything's going to fit before the people get out there and try and install it in the field and find out it doesn't fit. So this is a process that's been going on for months now. So all the trades have been through A building, and our B building got submitted today. So they're kind of working through anywhere where we see pipes bumping into each other that we got to reroute or move things around to make light fixtures fit right in the ceiling grid, things like that. So all of that's going on. We wanted to show you just kind of a couple snapshots here of the progress. So this is your building, and you can see kind of there's an overhead view there, so you can see the third floor ductwork layout, all that stuff that's going to be concealed, hidden in the ceilings. It's all drawn out and ready to go. And then the view on the right, if you were pulling in the driveway from Washington Street of the Bird School, that stair tower on your right, that's that stair 2, that tall section. So that's basically if you were driving up the driveway and you looked over at the building as you were coming in, that's kind of that view right there. So you can see all that ductwork and piping and all that's been laid out by the trades, and for that whole building, it's all ready to go.
Any questions on the coordination process?
Not a question, but appreciate you guys going through that, Joel and Kate. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, and then just a summary of meetings held since the last building committee meeting. As Joel mentioned, the coordination meetings are ongoing weekly on Tuesdays. We continue to have our weekly OAC meetings. Our D-scope meetings are ongoing with Fontaine, TAP A, Vertex. Since the last building committee meeting, we have gone through wood ceilings, casework, carpet, and window shades. The concrete slab kickoff meeting took place on April 26th. Again, Fontaine, Vertex, Tape, the contractors, engineers, and our third-party testing agent attended that meeting. And then we continue to have our weekly internal hot list calls just between Fontaine, us, and Tape, just to go through actions we need completed before the next OIC meeting. In terms of upcoming meetings, I wanted to add a little note here that we're going to have an interiors finishes working group meeting at the end of June, just to go through the actual samples, color samples of the interior finishes that were reviewed previously during DD and DCD. So I don't know, Matt, if you just want to touch base on this process quickly.
Yeah, can everybody hear me? I apologize, I'm in the car. Yeah, so basically we're going to go through the same presentation that we did for the interiors before, but this time we'll have all of the actual kind of samples that are being used and that were submitted for the project. So for the most part, hopefully most of them will be the same colors that we showed you guys previously and were kind of approved earlier. There may be a few where there's a different manufacturer that was submitted. So the shade or, color range may not be exactly what you guys see before. So we'll go through that with the colors working group. We'll pick up any of the items that were previously commented on, like the color of the main stair paint and stuff like that. So that'll all be presented in this working group colors meeting. We'll work through any issues that may come up, if there's any objections to any of the colors that may have changed slightly. And then that will kind of be the lead we'll take from the working group for approval from you guys for the final color selections for the building, so that they can then be submitted through Fontaine for purchasing and then be put up in the building.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Any questions on that process? Okay, hearing none. Construction administration, so TAP-A is on site weekly, and they continue to have site reports, and then in addition are doing submittal reviews with the engineers, answering RFIs, issuing ASIs, and all of the paperwork that's going back and forth internally. The consultants continue to be on site. Weston Sampson has been out since the last building committee meeting. EDG has been on site, our structural engineer, and PSI, our third-party testing agent, is on site as needed for welding and deck inspections. All right, so just to touch base on where we are with the pricing of VE systems as discussed in the previous meetings. So I know that there was a push to get some numbers on here, even if they're placeholders, just so people can see what we're looking at. So just a reminder of the history. The priorities are listed along the side, and the canopy priority 1 was already approved at the March meeting. The tech classroom folding glass partitions was already approved in April, and then the pole banners was already approved in the April meeting. These are the 3 that were really imperative to move forward because they were time sensitive, coordinating with the subcontractors for the steel work and the concrete slabs. So plugging in some more numbers, since you saw this last time, we kind of have 3 breakouts for the tile in the student toilet rooms. So we did this for comparison. I think the preference from the facilities department is to have full height tile in the student toilet rooms, just because it's easier for maintenance, for cleaning. And I think that's pretty standard in all the schools. So we have 2 breakouts for the tile heights. One is up to 7 feet, which falls about a foot short from the ceiling height. And the other is all the way up to the ceilings itself. This number here for the 7 foot up to 7 feet for the tile has adjusted slightly. We've been working with Fontaine and Tape to fine tune a detail. So this number actually increased by about $5,000 from what I had uploaded on Thursday. And then we have a plug here for $23,500 for full height tile only on the wet walls of the student toilet rooms. I graded out because it's not the preference of the schools, but I just wanted to have it here for comparison. Add clips to ACT ceilings in the student toilet rooms. We have $3,400 that came in for that. If you remember, I think during 60%, we initially had hard ceilings in the bathrooms, and then that was VE'd down to ACT ceilings. And then it was a preference to add clips to the ceiling tiles so kids can't push them up and hide things in the ceiling. So that's 3,400. The tile comparison is here, and then vinyl wall graphics. So this number came in a little bit higher than I initially thought. I will go through where exactly the graphics are in a second, but I just wanted to note that it came in at $50,000. A reminder, the brick offset banding, there was no cost to that, and that was issued in ASI and is now part of Fontaine's contract. The acoustical wall panel in the gym, that came in $19,500. And the granite bollards at the main entry came in at $30,000 as an estimate. And the stairs down the hill to the ball fields, which includes both the stairs and a walkway, came in at $153,700. We have to vet these numbers. These are just the first numbers we've seen. We have to go through them, but I know that it was important to get something on paper here. So we just want to include them. So just a summary of everything above. Approved to date is $454,691, and then estimated remaining, including the tile height up to 8 feet, which is $128,000, is $385,332. We don't need to make any decisions on this tonight. There's no voting. We just want to put the numbers out here, and then we will look at them in the future. But we just wanted to, put them out here for discussion.
Any questions or comments? Thanks, Kate.
So just to touch base on the vinyl wall graphic locations.
Yeah.
So those are outside stair 1, 2, and 3 on the north walls here on all 3 floors. This one's the south wall. And then also at the teacher cafeteria area on the north wall. And that also includes upgrading the drywall finish to a level 5 in that number. The granite bollards at the main entry. So Matt just highlighted in red what we were talking about in the number. So all of these bollards would be upgraded to granite for that $30,000 number. And then the stair down the hill to the ball fields. This is the highlighted piece here. I believe it's about a 15 to 20 foot grade chains here where the stair goes down the hill, and then it also includes the
Kate, we can't hear you.
Excuse me, Kate. I don't think she can hear us either.
Kate, we can't hear you.
Kate? Kate?
I got disconnected from the meeting. Give me a second.
to the potential change order law. Just a reminder that all of those BE items are also shown here on our potential change order log. This identifies any risks and anything currently in pricing for the project. Go through the color codes briefly. The orange, just a reminder, is change orders approved to date.
In the building can't hear you.
I think
can
they
hear
just
Kate
tried
fine.
again.
Is Walpole Media back in?
Kate, I can hear you.
Okay.
Walpole
I
Media
can hear
was
you as
dropped.
well.
You just look at the chat. Mark's typing.
Okay.
So I think maybe it's just
Walpole
the
Media
folks
back in?
in the building.
All right.
I
Can you
think
hear
it
me
has
now?
to do with
Yeah,
Walpole
Walpole
Cable.
Media is back in. We're good. They dropped.
Right.
They were dropped from the meeting.
Kate, we missed the last 3-4 minutes.
Okay. So you're where the vinyl wall graphic locations are?
Yep, we saw that.
Yeah, you were
talking
about the walkway
and the
walkway,
stairs.
yeah.
So this is the walkway here, these are the stairs and then the walkway, and all this is included in that 153,000. We need to go through and vet it out. We just got that.
Kate,
Yeah,
quick question. That 153,700 for the walkway, is that for the stairs or is that for the stairs and the walkway?
the stairs and the walkway, everything highlighted here.
All right, and are the stairs covered in the original budget?
The stairs were taken out at the 60% VE.
Okay,
So they were taken out previously.
thank you.
Yep. So currently what we own is
Can I ask
walking
a question?
down this. Yep, go ahead, Jen.
For the vinyl graphics, were those all the locations that were originally contemplated?
Yes, those were the locations
yeah.
held in the 60%. Go ahead, Matt.
No, you had it covered. Those are the original locations that we took out in I think it was 60%.
Yep, and this is all 3 floors at stair 1, 2, and 3.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the VE stuff? And then just the summary page that, I don't know if you heard this or not in the conference room, but that we typically go into a construction holding 1% in owner's contingency. We had 2 as a buffer, and we dropped down to 1%. That 0.86% of the total construction budget is $797,000, and of that, we've approved $454,691 to date in the VE that has come back in. Switching over to our potential change order log. So again, this holds all of the risks in the project, and we try to put estimates in here if we haven't gotten a number yet. So all of the potential VE items coming back to the project, or you'll see those in this log. To be voted by the committee tonight. The yellow is under review with TAP A and Vertex, and the white is an estimate is included in the number, but we haven't actually received the full PCO yet. So everything that is above the black line on page 2 was reviewed at a previous building committee meeting. So everything below that line are the VE items that we actually have, estimates for from Fontaine now. So that's just the new stuff that you haven't seen actual numbers from the last meeting. But tonight we would like to ask for approval for 3 PCOs. So the first one is PCO 3R3 water and sewer line relocation. This was to adjust the water line down the hill into the ball fields, and this is a mixture between a credit and a slight add, so that came out to $1,076. That work has already been completed. Sorry. PCO 10, which is electrical Eversource clarifications. So this was coordination between the contract drawings and the Eversource engineering drawings. And this is a credit for $13,082. And we also have another Eversource credit. This was a bill that should have been paid by Fontaine, but it went to the town. So we're just reimbursing the project for it for $357. So we're asking tonight for change order 4 to be approved as a credit to the project of $12,363.
Does anybody have any questions? Hearing none, I'd take a motion to approve the change orders.
So moved.
I have a motion from Mr. Senek. Do I have a
Second.
second? Second from Ms. Gaositz. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Frisha.
Yes.
Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
Ms. Gaositz,
Yes.
Dr. Goff,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Conroy,
Yes.
Mr. Jeff Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Jack Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Hahn,
Yes.
Mr. Senek,
Yes.
and I vote yes, it is a vote. And our next order of business is to vote to approve the vendor invoice package. Kate, you want to present that to us?
Yep, so it's the standard invoice, our Vertex invoice, which included the testing services. So this is the PSI third-party testing services, TAP A's invoice and Fontaine's invoice for 1.1 million. So that comes out to $1,315,220.51 for the month of April 2023.
Thanks,
So
Kate.
just flipping through the invoices. If anyone has any questions, let me know.
Any questions or comments?
Later.
Hearing none, I take a motion to approve the vendor invoice package for April, pardon me.
I'll move.
Motion from Jack Conroy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Jeff Conroy. Let me pull the committee. Fisher, I'm sorry. Mr. Jack Fisher and Mr. Jeff Fisher, sorry.
No worries.
Mr. Frisha,
Yes.
Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
Ms. Gaositz,
Yes.
Dr. Goff,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Conroy,
Yes.
Mr. Jeff Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Jack Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Hahn. Mr. Hahn?
Yes, sorry. Yes.
Mr. Senek?
Yes.
And I vote yes, it is a vote. Next up, Kate?
Just a reminder, the budget, the full project budget is in the VIP. And reimbursements to date, so we're at 27, and there's the summary in the VIP of where we are with MSBA reimbursements. In terms of communications to and from the MSBA, we are starting the MSBA quarterly change order review process. This is something standard in all of the school projects. The MSBA reviews change orders to date on a quarterly basis, and then won't reimburse them until the end of the project, and it's a percentage they reimburse. But this is basically just to make sure the MSBA is up to date with our paperwork going back and forth. And the district will receive a letter after their quarterly meeting, just with an update noting that they've received the change orders to date. And it really just makes sure that the MSBA is keeping up with the paperwork going back and forth on site. And we do not have a MSBA site visit scheduled yet. That'll probably start in late summer. Just a reminder of the next building committee meeting. So the next meeting is on June 13th at 6:30 p.m.
Thanks, Kate.
All I have.
Does anybody have any questions? Hearing none, I'd take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Gaositz. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, second from Jeff Fisher. Let me pull the committee. Mr. Frisha,
Yes.
Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
Ms. Gaositz,
Yes.
Dr. Goff. She may have left already. Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Conroy,
Yes.
Jeff Fisher,
Yes.
Jack Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Dr. Hahn, I believe, has left already as well. Mr. Senek,
Yes.
and I vote yes, it is a vote. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
You.